Have you ever stood at the edge of a massive cavern and wondered just how deep it goes? For thousands of years, humans have speculated about the strange and ancient secrets hidden beneath our feet. From lost civilizations to long-forgotten creatures, the layers of Earth's history hold more mysteries than we can imagine. With that in mind, here are the 15 most mysterious objects ever found buried underground. Number 15. Qin Shi Huang's tomb. The secret tomb of China's first emperor is one of the most awe-inspiring ancient discoveries in human history. But did you know that it was unearthed by accident? Also known as the Tomb of the Terracotta Warriors, Qin Shi Huang's resting place was discovered back in 1974 by a group of Chinese farmers digging wells near the city of Xi'an, stumbling upon one of the most shocking archaeological discoveries of all time. After finding evidence of just one of the life-size terracotta warriors, it was only a matter of time before archaeologists realized they were dealing with an entire army. Eventually, they dug out around 2,000 of these hand-carved clay soldiers. Astonishingly, for more than 4 decades, archaeologists have been excavating the site, and it seems that Qin Shi Huang's tomb has more mysteries left to reveal. Incredibly, experts estimate that there are more than 8,000 of these individually carved soldiers buried beneath the tomb. Number 14. The Notasaur. One of the most perplexing ancient monsters ever discovered. The Notasaur, a dinosaur that's left scientists scratching their heads in an attempt to decipher an incredible creature seemingly like no other. Amazingly, this dinosaur was revealed to scientists by complete accident after it was unearthed by an oblivious heavy equipment operator named Sean Funk, who was carving his way through the earth at the Millennium Mine in Alberta, Canada, unaware of the fact that he was about to discover the closest thing to a real-life dragon that we'll possibly ever find. Back in 2011, during a bitumen harvesting operation, the miner had spent days on end churning through the mining pit. But after his machine became caught on a strange strip of rock, he knew that he'd stumbled upon something truly bizarre. After alerting scientists to the discovery, it turned out that the miner had unearthed one of the most mind-boggling dinosaurs ever found, an herbivore covered in impenetrable armor that stretched over 18 feet long and weighed over 3,000 pounds. Astonishingly, the Notasaur that Sean Funk had found was a complete fossil, one of the most perfect specimens ever discovered. Mainly eating ferns, it was selecting certain types of ferns and not eating other types, offering an invaluable insight into the life and behavior of this remarkable monster. Is it a dragon? Not quite, but it's the closest thing that we found. Number 13. The Bet's Mystery Sphere. While the vast majority of these mysterious objects have been ancient artifacts, this next object is a much more modern kind of enigma. Strangely enough, the Bet's Mystery Sphere is a bizarre metal object that was discovered by the Betts family of Jacksonville back in 1974. While walking around the woods of their property on Jacksonville's Fort George Island, one of the Betts family members found a strange metallic sphere roughly the size of a bowling ball buried in the dirt. Thinking it would make a good souvenir, they decided to take it back to their home. It wasn't until one of the family members started playing guitar next to it that the bizarre properties of the sphere revealed itself. Strangely enough, the metal ball started humming back. Since then, countless investigations have been conducted on the object, with dozens of theories offered to explain its weird origins. Many claim that the mystery sphere is an elaborate hoax, while others cling to the belief that the metal object isn't from this planet, including the Betts family. What do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts down below. Number 12. Spanish Stonehenge. Britain's Stonehenge is one of the most astonishing ancient places on the planet. But did you know that scientists have recently unearthed a long-forgotten relic of similar design out in the countryside of rural Spain? Following a hefty period of drought, the 7,000-year-old monument was exposed after harsh weather conditions in western Spain dropped the water levels of a man-made lake and revealed the ancient standing stones arranged in a circle of more than 100 large rocks. The structure, known as the Dolmen of Guadapero, turns out that the ancient site was actually submerged back in 1963 after the Spanish government had constructed a reservoir to feed a hydroelectric dam. Incredibly, it was actually excavated back in the 1920s by a German archaeologist named Hugo, but his findings weren't published until the late 1960s after the area had been flooded and the reservoir had been constructed. Researchers believe that the site has many more mysteries to be revealed, but considering the fact that it was flooded in one of the most embarrassing archaeological accidents in modern history, things have become a little difficult. Number 11. The Shroud of Turin. Sure, it seems that the remnants of religion are unavoidable when it comes to trawling through the mysterious relics of our planet's history. For hundreds of years, the Shroud of Turin has remained to be one of the most controversial artifacts in Christianity, claimed to be the unassuming strip of cloth that bears the traces of blood and the imprint of Jesus Christ's body. Though the Catholic Church has never taken an official stance on the object's authenticity, tens of thousands of devout believers flock to Turin, Italy, every year just to get a glimpse of the object. Some claim the faint image on the cloth is not only miraculous but was formed by a burst of divine energy at the moment of resurrection. Others suggest the markings were made through unknown medieval photographic techniques, centuries before the invention of the camera. Forensic scientists have analyzed the blood patterns, concluding they're consistent with wounds described in crucifixion accounts. Strangely, the image is most visible in photographic negatives, a discovery that only added to the shroud's mystery when it was first photographed in 1898. Researchers have also identified traces of pollen on the cloth that are native to ancient Jerusalem. Art historians argue that the cloth's weave is too fine for 14th century Europe, lending further weight to its possible Middle Eastern origin. Still, skeptics argue that its convenient reappearance in France coincides too neatly with a surge of relic fraud during the Middle Ages. Whether miraculous or man-made, the debate rages on, fueled by science, faith, and centuries of speculation. According to legend, the shroud was secretly carried from Judea around 30 AD, where it was then housed in the Turkish cities of Odessa and Constantinople for several centuries. After English crusaders had sacked Constantinople in 1200 AD, the cloth was said to have disappeared from memory before the Catholic Church made note of its existence in 1353 AD, where it turned up in the basement of a tiny church in France. However, while radiocarbon dating has determined that the object was made between 1260 AD and 1390 AD, there are those that still assert that the artifact is authentic. What do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts down below. Now it's time for today's topic. In July 2025, a cave exploration team from the University of São Paulo made a chilling discovery deep beneath the Chapada Diamantina region in Brazil. While mapping an uncharted tunnel system over 9 miles underground, the team stumbled upon a vast chamber that had gone undisturbed for millennia. What they found inside defied logic: enormous, organic-looking egg-like structures standing upright, partially rooted into the muddy cave floor. Each structure stood over 6 feet tall and was coated with a leathery membrane, oozing a faint bioluminescent glow. Surrounding the bases were clusters of smaller, pod-like sacs. The temperature in the chamber was significantly warmer than the rest of the cave, and the air contained trace amounts of an unidentifiable organic compound, raising suspicions that these eggs were generating heat from within. The team documented everything but chose not to touch or sample the structures after strange vibrations began to echo through the chamber, despite no seismic activity in the region. Biologists speculate the structures may be a form of undiscovered fungi or an unknown subterranean organism, but some aren't convinced. The footage has ignited conspiracy theories online, with many calling it evidence of a life form not of this earth. So far, no one has dared return. Number 10. King Tutankhamun's Tomb. When Howard Carter famously opened the seal of the fabled King Tutankhamun's tomb, the world held its breath, mainly for the fact that they were fearful of an ancient curse being unleashed into the world, as well as, smallpox and stuff. The truth is, when it comes to ancient mysteries being unearthed from the bowels of the earth, King Tutankhamun's tomb is one of the most remarkable discoveries in human history. On February 16, 1923, in the sandy countryside of Thebes in Egypt, the English archaeologist Howard Carter kickstarted a morbid fascination with the long-forgotten mysteries of ancient Egypt, finally vindicating an archaeological adventure that he'd spent over 3 decades pursuing. When Carter first arrived in Egypt back in 1891, he became convinced that there was at least one undiscovered tomb that had avoided the prying eyes of modern archaeology. The moment the tomb was opened, rumors of a deadly pharaoh's curse began circulating as members of Carter's team reportedly fell ill or died under mysterious circumstances. Among them was Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's financial backer, who passed away shortly after the tomb's opening, fueling media hysteria worldwide. Despite scientific explanations, the story of the curse gripped the public imagination for years. Inside the tomb, more than 5,000 artifacts were discovered, including statues, jewelry, chariots, and ceremonial beds. Each item offered a stunning glimpse into royal life and the spiritual beliefs of ancient Egyptians. And what he eventually found was a treasure trove of ancient Egyptian history, filled to the brim with artifacts that had remained untouched for over 3,000 years. Of course, the most important of all the findings, a solid gold sarcophagus that contained the mummified body of King Tut, perhaps the most incredible archaeological discovery in living memory. Number 9. Singwi artifacts. China is one of the most complex and vastly rich civilizations on Earth, filled to the brim with thousands upon thousands of years of ancient history. While historians have determined that ancient China may have stretched back at least 5000 BC, the evidence behind it is murky at best. However, recent excavations have revealed startling evidence of one of China's most remarkable ancient societies, which was believed to have disappeared nearly 3,000 years ago, following a devastating earthquake. Back in 1929, a farmer from the Sichuan province of China uncovered a hoard of jade and stone artifacts while repairing a sewage ditch roughly 25 miles away from the city of Chengdu. While they were recorded at that time, Their significance wasn't fully understood until 1986, when archaeologists unearthed 2 more pits of Bronze Age treasure, including dazzling jade relics, around 100 elephant tusks, and a series of stunning 8-foot-high bronze sculptures, suggesting an impressive technical ability that wasn't present anywhere else in the world at the time. What shocked experts even more was the artistic style of the bronze masks, which looked nothing like traditional Chinese art. Some had exaggerated, alien-like features, including bulging eyes and protruding ears. The unusual aesthetic sparked wild theories about possible outside influence or even extraterrestrial contact. Yet, most scholars believe the Singwi were a highly independent and advanced culture that developed their own unique artistry. These treasures, which had been purposefully buried, came from the lost civilization of Singwi, an ancient walled city that resided on the banks of the Minjiang River. While the truth is yet to be determined, these artifacts remain to be one of the most exciting finds in archaeology. Number 8. Noah's Ark. Whatever your spiritual belief, there is no denying the fact that the legend of Noah's Ark is an incredible tale, a trial of perseverance against the wrath of the natural world. But did you know that a team of evangelical Christian explorers have claimed to have found the remains of the actual Ark yet? Back in 2010, during an expedition to the snow and volcanic debris of Turkey's Mount Ararat, the team of Christian explorers claimed to have used 3D mapping technology in order to undermine and determine the ancient vessel was buried deep beneath the dirt and earth of Turkey's rural region. The wooden structure, they claimed, was divided into compartments, which they believed could have been used to house animals. They also reported traces of carbonized wood, prompting further excitement. Drone footage revealed symmetrical features beneath the surface that didn't appear to be naturally occurring. This spurred a renewed wave of global interest in the ancient biblical story. You see, the thing is, pretty much every team of Christian scientists who have gone searching for Noah's Ark end up claiming to have found it, but none of them have ever been able to substantiate those claims. However, after the time in the spotlight quickly faded away, the team continued to return to the site in order to discover critical evidence. And in 2019, it seemed that they may have found the biggest clue yet. The Christian scientists revealed photographs and 3D scanning maps which claimed that Noah's Ark is buried beneath a rocky spot known as Durupınar site in eastern Turkey. And incredibly, some geologists back up the fact that it is a ship. Whether it's the legendary Ark is yet to be determined, but considering the fact that this one seems a little small to contain 2 of every animal on Earth, things definitely don't look certain. It seems that the search continues. Number 7. The Palace of Nestor. On the subject of long-lost civilizations, ancient Greece has remained to be a treasure trove of mysticism and mystery for archaeologists, and the fabled Palace of Nestor is certainly no exception. Believed to have been built in the Bronze Age by the Mycenaeans, the heroes that were described in Homer's epic poem, The Odyssey, the Palace of Nestor was first excavated back in the 1930s, where over 1,000 stone tablets were found during the dig, leading to a breakthrough in modern interpretations of the mysterious ancient Greek society. These tablets, written in linear B script, provided the first real insight into the administrative workings of the Mycenaean world. The site itself, located near modern-day Pylos, was remarkably well-preserved and featured intricate frescoes, storerooms, and a throne room that hinted at a highly organized and opulent society. One of the most astonishing finds at the palace was a bathtub believed to have been used by royalty, possibly even Nestor himself. The architecture of the site showed evidence of advanced engineering, including an early form of underfloor heating. Nearby, a complex system of roads and trade routes connected the palace to other Mycenaean hubs, further emphasizing its significance. The surrounding area was filled with imported pottery and exotic materials from Egypt and the Near East, suggesting extensive international trade. Many experts believe the palace served not just as a royal residence but as a political and economic center. Ongoing excavations continue to yield artifacts that reshape our understanding of Bronze Age Greece. The craftsmanship and luxury of the items unearthed suggest a civilization at its peak. When compared with other Mycenaean sites, Nestor's palace stands out for its wealth and state of preservation. However, the palace once again hit the spotlight when, in 2015, archaeologists discovered the tomb of the Griffin warrior, an undisturbed burial of an ancient king adorned with gold rings, bronze weapons, and other incredible artifacts. Who this man was remains to be a mystery, but it is speculated that the Griffin warrior was one of the most revered figures of the ancient world. Number 6. The Saddle Ridge Horde. You've been waiting for some real treasures, right? Well, the Saddle Ridge Horde is certainly like no other. Back in 2013, while out walking their dog on the Gold Country property, a couple from Northern California stumbled upon $10 million worth of rare, mint-condition gold coins buried in the shadow of an old tree. Dating back from between 1847 to 1894, the hoard contained exactly 1427 coins. And although they had a face value of just $27,000, Some of the coins are so rare that experts believed they could fetch at least $1 million apiece. Most of the coins were in uncirculated condition, making them even more valuable to collectors and historians. One particular coin, an 1866 Notasaur double eagle, is considered among the rarest ever discovered. The couple initially thought they had found a piece of rusty metal until they unearthed a can filled with gold. Upon further digging, they discovered several more cans stacked like nesting dolls, each packed with coins. The coins were carefully preserved in metal containers that had withstood the test of time. Experts were baffled at how such a pristine cache could go unnoticed for more than a century. Some believe the stash could have been hidden deliberately to avoid the banks during economic panic. Others speculate it was a secret reserve from a private mint or a lost shipment never recovered. Conspiracy theorists have even suggested it might have been buried by someone escaping the law. Wow. As you may imagine, the couple decided to stay anonymous, but hordes of coin-collecting enthusiasts were left in awe at their once-in-a-lifetime discovery. It isn't exactly clear who buried this amazing hoard or why the coins wound up hidden beneath the shadow of an old tree, but whoever did so was certainly in the process of burying some serious treasure. Theories have ranged from it being the long-lost loot of Jesse James to being the lost golden hoard of Civil War soldiers. Number 5. Gobekci Tepe. When it comes to ancient history, Gobekci Tepe changes everything. It's a fact, and we'd be hard-pressed to find any ancient location that is as mind-boggling as Gobekci Tepe when it comes to the implications of our ancestors, essentially rewriting the history of early humans as we know it. Literally translating to Potbelly Hill, this ancient Turkish monument may very well be the oldest known structure on Earth. Incredibly, even under conservative estimates, it's believed to be more than 12,000 years old. The site consists of massive stone pillars arranged in circular formations, each weighing up to 20 tons. What's baffling is that these megaliths were carved and transported by humans long before the invention of the wheel or metal tools. Intricate carvings of animals, symbols, and humanoid figures hint at a symbolic language, or even a spiritual system far older than we imagined. Unlike nearby settlements, Gobekci Tepe shows no signs of permanent habitation, suggesting it may have been a sacred pilgrimage site. Some researchers believe the site could have functioned as an astronomical observatory, aligned with star patterns. Others propose it was a place of ancestor worship, designed to link the living with the spirit world. One of the most stunning theories is that it served as a unifying center for nomadic tribes, predating agriculture. The sheer scale and complexity suggest coordinated labor and social organization far beyond what we associate with the Stone Age. However, some recent findings indicate that Gobekci Tepe could potentially be over 50,000 years in origin. First rediscovered back in 1995 after being forgotten by several archaeological digs throughout the ages, it's thought that this strange and wonderful monument could be evidence of the start of human civilization. If that's true, then its significance in the human story may be reason enough to rewrite the entire history of our species. Although the specifics surrounding its construction are still shrouded in mystery, one of the leading theories is that Gobekci Tepe was used as a temple to the earth, a celebration of the natural world and the abundance of resources that it provides. Number 4. The Ark of the Covenant. Okay, sure, we've had the Shroud of Turin, Noah's Ark, so we might as well make it 3 for 3 and turn our attention toward one of the most coveted artifacts in ancient history, the legendary Ark of the Covenant. Believed by many to have been the vessel that carried the 10 Commandments written by Moses, for centuries, people have tried in vain to locate and recover the Bible's most sacred object, an ornate and gilded case said to have been built around 3,000 years ago by the ancient Israelites. But it seems that any effort to unearth this object has fallen by the wayside. Over the years, there have been dozens of tantalizing leads, from Ethiopia's Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion to hidden chambers beneath Jerusalem. Some even speculate it was hidden away by the Knights Templar. The Ark is said to have emitted dangerous levels of energy, with some texts warning it could bring death to those who touched it. Ancient texts also describe it leveling walls and splitting rivers, suggesting it held immense power. The temple at Beth Shemesh was built with an unusual architectural layout, possibly designed to house something sacred. Archaeologists found burnt layers in the surrounding soil, indicating rituals or destruction events. Nearby inscriptions reference divine protection and a forbidden artifact. Strangely, locals in the area have long spoken of glowing lights seen at night around the ruins. The Israeli team has urged further investigation with ground-penetrating radar. However, in 2019, religious archaeologists from Israel claim to have discovered the location of this ancient relic deep within a 3,000-year-old temple near the modern-day town of Beth Shemesh in Israel. While the Ark itself was nowhere to be found, one thing is missing, and that is the Ark of the Covenant, the team stated. A large carved stone that they discovered could have potentially been the plinth on which the Ark of the Covenant once sat. What do you guys think? Real or another phony? Number 3. The ancient city of Nanmatal. Talking of forgotten places, This next entry is an astonishing example of the many secrets that remain hidden beneath the Earth's surface. Believed to have been abandoned centuries ago, the ancient city of Nanmatal is perhaps the only example of a city ever being constructed on top of a coral reef, leaving historians and archaeologists with a puzzling headache to solve. How did this place get built? Located in the remote Pacific islands of Micronesia, it's found on the southern side of the island of Pohnpei, nestled deep within a rich tapestry of coral reefs, with its ruined columns and graceful stone structures jutting out from the ocean waves. Built across nearly 100 artificial islets separated by narrow canals, Nanmatal is often called the Venice of the Pacific. Its massive basalt stones, some weighing up to 50 tons, were transported from quarries miles away, with no clear explanation of how this feat was achieved without modern machinery. Local legend tells of sorcerers using levitation to move the stones into place. The city's layout appears ceremonial, possibly designed to mirror astronomical alignments. Some believe it served as a royal and religious center for the Sotalur dynasty, which mysteriously vanished. Despite excavations, no burial chambers or detailed records have been uncovered. The city is also said to be cursed, with locals avoiding it after dark. Its name translates to space between, perhaps referencing its eerie, liminal nature. Many believe more lies hidden beneath the silt and waves, waiting to be discovered. Incredibly, the architecture of this ancient city is so complex that no one has ever figured out how it was built. And yet, the people who were believed to have ruled there did so for more than a millennium. Who they were and how they engineered this astonishing ancient city remains to be one of archaeology's greatest unsolved mysteries. Number 2. The Pyre Map. Although the frozen continent of Antarctica has been the subject of many mysteries, what this unearthed object seems to suggest is that explorers of the ancient world had already discovered the frozen continent, and not only discovered it but mapped it in its entirety. Allegedly discovered buried beneath the floor of a Turkish tomb, the Pyre Map is a true historical enigma, one that poses far more questions than it does answers. Drawn on a gazelle skin parchment, this bizarre map was first discovered in Istanbul, Turkey, by German theologian Gustav Deissmann, who had remained hidden until 1929. Scholars were stunned to find that the map featured parts of South America and West Africa with remarkable accuracy, centuries before those coastlines were fully charted by Europeans. Perhaps the most baffling detail was the depiction of Antarctica without its ice cap, suggesting ancient explorers may have had knowledge of the continent in its ice-free state. This predates modern surveys by at least 300 years. Some researchers believe the map may have been based on documents from the legendary Library of Alexandria. Others even suggest it was compiled using aerial perspective, long before flight was possible. The curvature of the continents is also unusually accurate, fueling theories about ancient advanced technologies. There are even fringe speculations linking the map to lost civilizations such as Atlantis. Regardless of its origin, the Pyre Map continues to defy conventional historical timelines. What this chart clearly indicated was that sometime in 1513, an Ottoman Turkish admiral and geographer had created a map of the known world, including expertly crafted detail of the frozen continent of Antarctica. It included geographical content that could have only been known by someone that had painstakingly surveyed the area. And even more bizarrely, there are claims that it's based on an even older map. Whatever the truth is, it suggests that the ancient history of Antarctica could be much more complex than we imagined. Number 1. The Buried Treasure of Forest Fen. And finally, to complete this mind-boggling journey of mysterious treasure, what better way to end than with the buried treasure of Forest Fen, one of the most incredible contemporary treasure hunts of recent times? Back in 2010, an eccentric millionaire named Forest Fen self-published a memoir that contained hidden clues pointing toward a treasure that he had buried deep within the Rocky Mountains. As he claimed, Fen had buried a chest filled with items from his antiquities collection, including jewelry, jade carvings, and a hoard of gold coins, believed to have been worth around $1 to $3 million. What made the hunt even more intriguing was the cryptic poem included in his memoir, which served as the main map to the treasure's location. Lines like "Begin it where warm waters halt," and "If you are brave and in the wood," became rallying cries for treasure seekers. Some hunters quit their jobs, sold their belongings, and dedicated their lives to decoding the clues. Tragically, at least 5 people reportedly died while searching in remote wilderness locations. Rumors swirled online about potential lawsuits and whether Fen had manipulated the search for attention. Conspiracy theories even suggested that the treasure had never existed at all. Others believed Fen had retrieved it himself in secret to end the chaos. The mystery only deepened after a lawsuit revealed the finder was a medical student from Michigan named Jack Stuff, though skepticism remains. For over a decade, it's believed that more than 50,000 people had joined in on the treasure hunt, with no one claiming the ultimate prize. However, in June of 2020, it was claimed that the treasure had been found, with Fenn keeping the identity of the finder hidden. Given the fact that, back in September, Forrest Fenn passed away from natural causes at the age of 90, we may never know the truth. Was it an elaborate hoax, or is there someone out there who had claimed the buried treasure? And there you have it, the 15 most mysterious objects ever discovered buried underground. What did you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments and join the conversation using hashtag today's topic. As always, thanks for sticking with us till the end. You've been watching Thought Trail. See you next time.